Union and 8-Minded here live on Fragadelphia 8 Online, presented by Gamer Saloon. The first map was a bit of a difficult affair for Horizon Union, but they were so close. A 2v5 against Tech9s, and somehow, someway, they ended up losing to 8-Minded 16-14 in the 30th round. But now we're moving over to 8-Minded's choice. That's going to be Mirage. A great start for Horizon Union as Tanner gets the headshot onto Deka. Sin's going to wrap up towards jungle, and he is just encountering multiple CT side players doing what he can. But it looks like bomb site control is in 8-Minded's hands as they go for the plant. It's a retake now for the CTs.
Yeah, they got a good concave as well, too, so they're looking to funnel their way in. Got to push straight through the smoke of CT. Nice free fire right there. Elian predicting someone in behind. And this round shaped up very quickly because of not just the tactical approach, but the strategic approach, how they came into that. They came through, they had, I think, 2 people through connector, maybe 1 through connector, 1 through jungle, 2 through CT. They had a nice concave working their way in. There was no real places for 8-Minded to back up after that bomb plant and hide and hold angles with. There was always somebody going to be seeing you.
A great pistol round start there for Horizon. They do give up the bomb plant, so it's going to allow 8-Minded to do exactly what they did on their T side on train. Actually, both teams did it. They followed up the pistol round with a save, an attempt to get the bomb down one more time and get a little bit of bonus cash. Horizon Union was able to get that second plant. 8-Minded was not, but either way, they still went into the third round, picking up those AKs. They're going to be making the bomb, taking the bomb down towards connector. Still 3 players on the A site, chipping away at the HP of the man in Palace. That was B, who eventually succumbs to Elian's FAMAS. Now they're stacked up in mid. No smokes on window. It looks like they did have it smoked, but it just fades. And it looked like it was right when Mario wanted to make his way in. The nade should be on point. Actually doesn't do as much damage as you would have expected. And Prism gets a little bit of CSGO action there with the flash bouncing in the most bizarre direction possible. He's going to peek towards mid with the ump. Decides to just make the call out instead of forcing the fight. And it's just 3 players now, Deka, Seb, and Mario. Down goes Mario. So it really is just Deka and Seb, and they're pretty much locked in this position.
Yeah, they are. They're going to try and jump up into the window, and Prism's going to send them back packing. So return to center. We'll take that round flawlessly as well. Now, you mentioned this last game is if the T's get a bomb plant down in the first or second round and they save and get themselves AKs in the third, like we're going to see now, it kind of puts the CT side in an awkward position. It's like, well, we've now got FAMASes and umps to work with, but, however, the ump is good at cracking armored targets. The ump is still, I believe, a 2-dink. I don't know about extreme range. If you can hit him twice in the head, it'll still be a kill, but it just has a slower firing rate, and it's kind of a good middle ground for your second round buy. It can carry you into the third round if your enemy gets a bomb plant and gets AKs like we're seeing now. But it doesn't matter. B's going to drop his AK-47 to the ground. Watson picks that frag out, but aggression towards the B apartments. Mario tries, and he sprays down, gets 2. A lot of rounds will be sent through that 4x4 pillar as he now takes this B site really single-handedly. An aggressive play from Horizon Union right now, but Prism's waiting, biding his time, looking for the second kill. He's going to get it, and that one, as he does, but the bomb has already found its way, I think, into the apartments. Doesn't matter. They've already secured the bomb plant, it seems like. It's going to be all up to Watson to come back for the retake.
So he let him get the bomb past him, hoping to spot more. It was only 1 player following. He does get that kill, but unfortunately, he had already let the bomb past him. There was 1 on each side, so even if he kills the bomb there, he's probably going to get pinched from the man in TV room. Watson here on the retake. Needs to be golden with his aim. Gets the first one. Needs to spot the man in apartments or the man in sight first. He does get the 1! Wow, a very close round there as 8-Minded lose 4 players. They're going to get the round. The CT side probably going to force on top of this here. Their money is actually looking pretty good. Only 1 player was a little bit low. They're going to have to drop him a rifle. But the rest of the team should be able to buy up. And the T side's money is not looking so hot. And you can see the effect it's having. Tech9 on B, the rest on AK is a little bit light on utility. But even still, I don't know if they're going to expect this full buy-up from the CTs. They might walk into a trap here thinking that it's going to be an eco, and it could be a shutdown round, an opportunity for Horizon Union to send 8-Minded right back to Eco Town.
Yeah, they've got 3 players to this B side already, almost predicting this move from 8-Minded. The flashbangs as well, keeping players at bay. Addo going to find that second one, and already 8-Minded down 2. There's the third. Prism's got another one for himself as Mario peeks around the corner, sees the barrel of Prism. Likely going to get this frag. He does, and Seb gets one in the market as well. Look at Mario turning things around. It's a 2-on-2. The bomb is on the ground now being picked up. Seb will recover that. Otto on arches, and Watson in the market will try and take this back. Seb finds Otto at the arches, leaving Watson alone. He's going to catch Mario here. He does. Gets that one. It'll be a one-on-one. How appropriate. And Seb wisely backs off, forcing Watson to guess whether it's going to be A or B. Likely just going to choose the B site and hang out here and hopefully catch him. If he does happen to plan here, he'll be able to get the jump on him, but Seb's making his way to the A site anyways.
I mean, it seemed like 8-Minded was just going to get obliterated. With the early start from Prism with the AWP, he was basically posted up in a perfect position. If they had known he had the AWP, I doubt that would have been the play call. But at the same point in time, you don't necessarily expect them to take the only AWP in the field and push it over towards Van. Usually you would expect them to push it up towards window, maybe play ticket booth with it. So a gamble play from Horizon Union ended up working. They put that AWP on Van, and he's able to strike with great vengeance and furious anger.
Nice.
And it puts them in a position where they're now on the brink of winning their third round after losing one. But both teams not really looking so hot because of it. Watson expects the player to be in towards Palace. He's waiting for shots through the smoke, but patience from Seb here, knowing that it's very likely not to be on the bomb. Had Watson stuck it, though, he would have had that with a day and more left over. But even still, 8-Minded scraped together another round, a very expensive one again. At least this time they can rely on SMGs to fire past the pistol buy coming in from Horizon Union.
Yeah, I think Seb saw his foot as he pulled back. He threw the smoke, tapped the bomb, and then wrapped around the tall box to look at Palace. I think Seb saw his foot as he was pulling back around that corner, so he's the wiser to that it wasn't a ninja. But we'll see a 5-man stack to the A site right now, and already 8-Minded have found themselves into the B site. Free site, guys. Check it out.
So yeah, the CT side's going to go with the 5-man retake. Ugh. Going to be quite difficult. They don't have anything to work with at all. Not even a kit. They might be able to spot Deca, who's the only player with a pistol armor, but that armor is going to give him a little bit more survivability. Doesn't matter, though. The USP headshot from Prism, you can see he jumps over to the post. He's like, sweet, I got a gun. Oh, it's just a P250. Darn. So I'm not really going to be able to do anything with it. And the rest of the team is kind of in a similar situation. They have abandoned the bomb, though. Look at Ado moving up catwalk. There's only one player in towards B. If Ado had a kit, they could actually win this round had he just run up catwalk and gotten the defuse. I mean, they were so far away. Ado now was just trying to glue them towards the site and take some down with them. Mario on 2 and B on 3. It was very close to a kill. Both players somehow survived, and 8-Minded is able to start building up some money. The CT side is going to go for kind of a force here. I mean, they didn't really have enough to go into a pure full buy, but it's a wise decision. They need to try and stop the bleeding here. 8-Minded could pick up some serious steam if they gave them one more.
Ooh, it's, 8-Minded looking pretty good right now, being a slightly CT-sided map. A bit more balanced than Train, but nonetheless, 8-Minded starting off firing on all cylinders. You're right, if they do take this round from Horizon Union and Horizon's not able to save any M4s to work with the next round, they could be setting up for just a catastrophic collapse of rounds that pour the way of the T side. 8-Minded could manage to find themselves up 5 before Horizon Union gonna get their economy back on board. Right now they hold Catwalk B, pushing in with a P90 first, but Deca steals it from him, and they find more frags. Ado's the only one to get a return, as it will be traded back and forth, but it'll be a 3v2. Elian and Watson now working with some M4s, but no kits. No kits to try and work with, so the call for the save might come out. If they don't get an early frag here, they got to be thinking about backing off.
Yeah, they have about 5 or 6 seconds here to make a call before they decide to bail out. You can see they're just trying to peek right now. They're looking for info. They do have a kit now on Watson, so they can make a move towards the site. Elian's going to get the first one, but it was Watson who went down alongside him, and now they're just playing this so passively, totally playing the bomb. Elian realizes there's no way, and now he's even unlikely to get out with his gun. Somehow makes it across. The CT side does manage to save one rifle, but their money is in the toilet now. They have lost everything that they worked for in those eco rounds, and they're back to square one to a certain degree. I mean, they do have 4 rounds of loss bonus, so that's an extra $2,900. But on the CT side, that's hardly enough to work with, and they don't really want to force anything here. It is only 4 rounds for 8-Minded, but at the same time, you're thinking about economic disturbance. 8-Minded is building up some serious cash flow, and I mean, B has had a P90 for 2 rounds now, right? And there's really no reason for him to give it up now. So 8-Minded is actually starting to create a pretty one-sided half. Even though it's still early, things could easily just go way out of control for Horizon Union.
Yeah, first P90 comes in, but they do return it back. AK's now against the soft, squishy targets. Tanner and Addo left to remaining in this round. Looks like it's just going to go straight the way of 8-Minded. Tanner's just looking to try and get any kind of frags he can. If he could manage to pick up an AK-47, all the more power to him to help his team out. But it's going to be a tall drink of water, considering those AK-47s are not only shooting at him, but they're very, very far away. And you mentioned $2,900 in loss bonus. I mean, it didn't even help them that round, that last one, because they had emptied their pockets the round before trying to stop the bleeding. But that's 5 in a row for 8-Minded, and they're winning them healthy, too. Only one player lost that round. 2 rounds ago, only one player lost again. So they're starting to rack it up. Sin over $11,000.
It seems like they have a poor hold on the sights, so Horizon Union is not necessarily putting themselves in positions where they're likely to win. They're constantly playing retakes. A triple man stack in mid might just be the answer right now as they put one right behind the smoke. Tanner has to be careful. He is very susceptible in this position. If they decide for any reason they need to spam the smoke, if they spot a foot, anything like that, he could go down. But he could be the big man now. All he needs to do is spot these players in mid. Oh, and it's a shooting gallery. What? Tanner only gets one. He ignores the players close. But it ends up being a pretty one-sided affair regardless. It's just Seb all by himself over towards A ramp. He's got the AK and a flashbang, and he realizes it's a 1v4. The bomb is down. He's just faking a rotate out, hoping to pull somebody in towards his direction. He really just wants to do some damage. He knows the CT side has no money to work with. So any rifle he can take out of their hands is going to have a drastic effect on the next round. And that's exactly what he's looking to do. Watson in the site right now, holding towards the default box and firebox for that matter. And he gets his head taken off as a result. Seb still hunting in this area. Prism does have the op towards jungle. And he's just kind of holding right now. A good little flash from Seb would have found him some wiggle room had there been a player on the stairs. But 2 players towards connector and 1 in window, basically turtling up around the bomb, a triangle of doom. Going to be pretty difficult for him to get into any kind of position. And there you go. It is 8-0 finally closing things out. Horizon Union pick up the third. It cost them a little bit, but not enough to make it too bad. They will be able to drop rifles and go into another full buy round here coming into round 9.
Yeah, I thought it was going to get gruesome right there. They almost lost Addo. He was dropped down sub 20 HP or somewhere in that realm. But they do manage to come out on top, and convincingly at that. I love the way they did like a slight... They secured the bomb. They set up a slight perimeter around it. They had 4 players to work with, but as soon as he pushed up, got 1 frag, they came back almost to level with the bomb and defended from that position, and they were willing to just pull back just a little bit further and really make it a full court press to work with. But it's going to be a standard defense this round for Horizon. They've got themselves 2 stolen AK-47s and a full buy up for their opponents. 8-Minded have themselves an op in Sin's hands. Seems to be ticking pretty well for them, but bomb's making its way over towards the B side, still in the apartments, but it's split push right now as it stands. It's Deca and Sin pushing through the palace to try and draw some attention and maybe some rotations that way. They're going to try and seem as big and as mean as possible. If they can manage to get a frag, they could likely pull rotations over. Sin has the angle. Oh, and he's absolutely ready, but definitely Prism saw that one, but it doesn't matter. Sin has the angle, holds it, gets the frag. Let's see if that pulls rotations back to the A side. It does temporarily. Tanner just moves over to the market and doubles back to the B site, but they push out now of Palace, it seems. They're going to try and take the last defender here. It's Watson on the A site.
Oh, poor old Watson, all by himself. He's got support by way of Elian, who's over towards jungle, but he's not sure if he wants to rotate out, and if he plays this wrong timing-wise, he could actually be a big problem for his team. He needs to get the kill on this man in connector. See, he goes for the op swap so he can hold for jungle, and now he's peeking. All he needs is to get spotted by the man connector, and he could go down. Smoke's going to rain out just on top of him. He's not really going to have much to peek through. He does have a slight crack in the edge. Seb, though, is not forcing the fight here. He knows he doesn't need to, and there you go, Seb. Perfect timing as the call-out comes from his team. And Horizon, it's a 2v5. They can't go for this. They can't. They just can't. They don't have the money. They're going to have to bail already, and there you can see they finally realize, what are we doing? We shouldn't even be where we are. We need to get as far away as possible. B is already on the hunt. He's going to spot him in the B site. How appropriate. B on B. He looks for the last man towards the van. That's Tanner on the vanner. And it's just the last one. I couldn't help myself. He's trying to survive in the B site right now. He's in an interesting spot, but more than likely to go down in a second here. And there you go. Horizon Union dropped the round and all of their guns. It's back to Eco Town for them. They have very little money to work with. And 8-Minded have found 6 rounds now, which is already a pretty good T-side.
And they've lost their... Horizon's lost their max loss bonus already. I mean, they did get that round, but they couldn't string it together. So they go down, and another healthy win right there for 8-Minded. So they're looking like they have this map completely under control. They've now reached what I would consider 5-6 rounds on this map, being your average T-side. They're going to open this up, and against an eco round, they could start to find themselves stacking up. Watson, nice shot right there. Dinks Deca finishes up with a nice chest shot. So he'll recover himself a, I think it was an AK-47, but he made it out of dodge, it seemed, without recovering it. So didn't want to push the issue. Kill right there. B goes down on the B site. Again, actually, I was casting with Sprawl like a week ago, and we were casting B's Money Crew game, and we were talking. It was on Inferno, so he was always anywhere there was a spot with B. So he was either bench, boiler, B site, banana. He was all over those spots.
Oh, I can't help but laugh at that. B got shot by 1 bullet. He was towards Van. We'll talk about it in a second. Seb gonna get blindsided by Elian, and this eco round actually is really good here for Horizon Union, as they found themselves in a 2v4 with a P90 and an AK in hand. Watson's in such a good spot, but I don't understand. He just doesn't fire on Sin. It seemed like he had the drop on him. Sin comes around the corner and gets the no-scope. Elian and Sin getting into a duel there. Actually, it was Mario, but finally Ado peeks and stops the bleeding there in the round. It wasn't Eco, so they can afford to lose as many guns as possible. Horizon Union kind of snake one away from 8-Minded, but I'm laughing because B came out of B apartments, and there was one towards Van, and he shoots 1 bullet from the CZ, and B like ran out and jumped out the window, and they kind of like thought like, I think I heard a bullet here. And he's like looking all around, like he just can't figure out why. He was like checking every spot. Like you could see he was so confused. He could not figure out where that 1 bullet came from. And finally the player just jumps out of window and takes him out. But it was kind of hilarious to watch B like frantically search around trying to figure out whether or not he's losing his mind at the B site.
Interesting, but a good eco round nonetheless. They steal that one away like you mentioned. And mid control has been forfeit over. Tanner, was that through the wooden window? Nice shot from him. It was. Picked off one in the kitchen of the B apartments. Sin's going to try and reposition himself and establish that control as his team comes up catwalk now. They've smoked off connector, and they'll find themselves up against Tanner. Reinforcements are on the way, but Tanner's going to draw some blood. Gets one. If he repeaks right now, it'd be unwise. Instead, he's just going to hold the angle as 8-Minded now have to force the issue. Sin finds the first kill as he's wrapping around the B site right now, but the scope, oh my god, what a flick right there. He gets one. As it'll be a 2-on-1 up to Sin right now with that op. They'll be finding themselves up against Elian and Watson, both full HP. Sin down to 12 with minimal utility to work with. He does have bomb control, and he has the option to plant right now, but he doesn't know that, and only we with the X-Ray have the option to see that, and he'll actually go through catwalk. He might make his way out of this site. Oh, this is great. Yeah. This is fantastic. Smokes the site and just sneaks his way to the A site. They're still sold on the B site. Did he hear it? No, Elian's not even close enough to hear that he went to the A site. Oh, no. Free plant.
And he should have actually time here where he's going to be able to get into Palace. If he goes towards CT, it could be difficult. They still don't even know it's A. They still think it's B. They just realized now. Elian and Watson were glued. And a great shot from Sin to open things up, but he's so low on HP that if he plays the wrong angle, it could be an easy frag for Elian. He's going to cycle back towards CT spawn, and a great shot from Elian to take away that last bit of health. A bomb plant that 8-Minded probably shouldn't have gotten is going to generate a little bit extra cash for them here. That's 2 rounds of loss bonus plus the 800, so $2,700 for the round. It's going to push them into force buy territory with 2 players sitting on 5 and 6K. Probably going to go with a split buy where they have double or triple AK and Tech 9s with armor. Because at this point, they've already got a pretty good handle on the game. I mean, they've got 6 rounds on their T side. I would be surprised if they went too careful with the buy. They might not go for those AKs. They might just go full Tech 9 armor. But even still, I would definitely push for that at this point. Any round they can get, any damage they can do is just going to make things easier for them as they continue on in the first half.
Yeah, Elian accidentally buys a frag grenade, throws it over the wall, and picks himself up, I believe, an extra flashbang to work with. So 8-Minded right now, they've got themselves some chest armor, some head armor to work with. Deca's going to be the man with the utility, so he'll play a bit of support. We'll throw some smokes and flashbangs, but they don't really have all that many. They do have some set smokes, but I think it's 3 to work with to try and get into this A site. Right now, it's going to be point-blank range underneath the palace. There it is. He gets taken down, so the Tech-9's successful so far getting into the site. Can they get the bomb plant down? Alien's embedded on Tribox, but it doesn't matter. He gets cut down. Weapons now in the hands. They picked them up and off as well. A flawless eco round nonetheless so far. It's just Tanner. Oh, unfortunate round. Tanner's all the way back at T-spawn with a grenade in his hand, just wondering what happened. Why?
Poor Tanner. Tanner, I mean, he's by himself. This force buy totally works for 8-minded. It doesn't really surprise me, honestly. They've gotten to 6 rounds because they've kind of leveraged themselves up over the opponent. They haven't done anything crazy. I really haven't seen any like strong strats from 8-minded. That's been pretty much standard T-side takes for A and B. The one round they did put a little bit of pressure on A and they went towards B, which was surprising because usually teams don't work B that often. This round they go for the standard A take and it does work. Deca trying to get away with the deagle. Doesn't really care. He's the only player who didn't have anything picked up on the round. Tanner survives and the money is all over the place on the CT side. I'm kind of curious to see how they handle this one. I think they're going to be able to drop. They're going to go with a split buy. I think they're going to have 3 rifles and 2 pistols. So they'll have kind of that 3-2 full house situation. They're actually able to get another FAMAS out of it. So they pinch every penny possible and they flatten those dollars out. And they end up getting a 3/4 buy, I guess we'll call it. But that aggression into Palace is not going to help. They lose 2 of those players very early round with a 3rd to follow potentially. And there you go. It's a 1 for 1. Really a 1 for 3 if you count the other 2. And Horizon Union in a really difficult spot yet again.
I mean, I don't really understand that. I would have considered a save at that point for the beginning of this round, but they force bind up. But they force bind up and play aggressive, and those weapons didn't even get to be used, it seemed. They only got Sin to work with, and Tanner alone again. This time, last time was a 1v5, this time a 1v4, but still irrecoverable, so he'll look to grandfather this M4 into yet another round. So he'll post himself up at the bench, it seems, this time. But a fantastic, I mean, really, this all came from that eco round from 8-minded, and you look at their economy now, it's blown up. After being broke, they managed to pick up 2 rounds in a row. And it looks like, yeah, B's going to pick up Sin, his op, and get out of dodge. Hopefully he can get out in time. He's only got 50 HP. Can you make it out? Oh, he's going to throw the op. Oh, he survives. But did the op fly over the wall? Oh, no. Oh, he sees it. It's embedded into the wall. No, it isn't. Where did it go? It flew over the wall, nonetheless. He tried ducking it.
It doesn't really matter. Tanner died at the end of the round. The CT side is absolutely broke. They're saving up for one last buy. We could be seeing exact same scores we saw in the first half of map number 1 to 9-6 if Horizon Union is able to pick up round 15. But that's assuming a lot. I mean, the way that 8-minded is playing this right now, they're really just hugging kind of hard. You know, everyone jokes about the fact that their name used to be Man I Love Fragging, and that's exactly what they're doing. And they're doing a pretty good job at it as well. Again, starting out so strong. Only 1 kill for the CTs. Watson in mid gets sprayed down by Deca. It's Prism at the top of mid. He's got an AK behind the boxes. They know he's in this position. And Aim Punch takes over. Sin able to take him out with the SG of all guns, the Krieg. And they're going to toss guns in each direction. Sin doesn't even find himself one, but he really doesn't care. 9K in his pocket. And the last round for the CTs is a bit of a stretch. So this could be a 10-5.5, and 8-minded would just be a pistol round away from potentially closing things out.
Yeah, this is out of control right now. We are going to see the as much of a buy-up as Horizon Union can muster out of this one of Smoke, but they don't no respect Smoke straight through it. It's only 1 defender on this A site right now. Alien hits the deck already. A little bit of work right now. Tanner's completely whited out, as it is an awesome take at that. Finally, Tanner is able to draw some blood. So 1 for 2 trade at the end of the day right now, but a lot of utility being expended and still a lot in the pockets of 8-minded to work with right now. Tanner will go down. Prism finds that one, but it's a 2-on-3 retake and a grenade. Oh, it's a flashbang. Hits home, but that AK does as well, leaving it up to Prism alone, but it is looking dire, as it looks like it could be a 10-5 half, unless Prism now down to USP, not going to be able to pull it up. So a 10-5 half on what is a CT-sided map, 8-minded coming out on top on their T half.
And what could potentially be the last plug of the evening for Gamer Saloon. I know you guys don't necessarily like it, but they support us big time over here at Fragadelphia, so we want to give them a shout out. Gamersaloon.com/frag. Sign up for an account now. You get an instant credit basically a death match where you can earn cash with every kill that you get, and you lose a little bit every time you die. So if you don't feel like you're going to die that often, head on over to gamersaloon.com/frag, sign up for an account now. So we are moving into the second half here, where Horizon Union has felt very weak, but really, I mean, they've been economically starved the entire half. They could not chain rounds together at all. It made things so difficult for them. And that is kind of the name of the game. You've seen so many teams where they can pick up a round or two, but they follow it up with an immediate loss. And they just never get their foot in the door, and they are constantly force buying. And the last time I saw it this bad, it was this team. Back when they were trifecta on cash, they force bought and ecoed 7 times in the first half. It was brutal, and they could not do anything about it. They ended up losing the first half on cash, 12-3 on the CT side. So a very similar situation played out. Looks to be happening here. A decent setup for the pistol round here as they toss a smoke towards CT, flash in towards jungle. Going to give them the ability to get on the site. The opening pick goes their way as the T side swarms in. They're trying to spot B in window here. He does get 1 kill, but down goes both players in that position, and the bomb is about to be planted on the A site.
In the smoke. Ooh, nice shot. Deca finds that kill as Watson was just finishing the plant and sitting, breathing in the fumes, but it'll be a 2-on-3 retake right now. They do have a kid on board, so they have a little bit of time to work with. Deca spots one over on the stairs, but the T's are very... Oh, looks like they're going to try to defuse this. Sin is going to try and get in the way, but he's not in the way enough. Teammate goes down trying to stick the bomb defuse, and as Addo cleans that one up. Horizon with a convincing pistol round right there. I love that one.
Yeah, they actually put in a decent amount of work. They went for the smoke towards CT, the flash towards jungle. It's a wise decision. Instead of spending that little bit of extra money on a smoke, knowing that they're probably just going to push through it anyway, they go with the flash. Really not a whole lot you can do about the flashbang. Smoke, obviously, you know, pistol round, you don't have anything to risk. Just go through it anyway. But the flash, you're full white. You can't see anything, so you're going to wait. And as a result, they get into jungle, and it was a 2-man push into that position, and they dropped both players trying to hold that spot. B was already in window. One was rotating through murder hole. So now Horizon's going to play very slow. Actually not surprised by that based on the way they played the first half on train. They were very careful about the way they took any kind of map control. They never gave anything up too easily. With Mirage, they should be able to get into the bomb site a lot sooner than they did on train, so the clock not going to play a big factor here for Horizon Union. 8-Minded does go with the scout buy on Deca, though, jump spotting towards B. And if he sees an arm, he should be able to make a call. Hasn't seen anything yet, actually falls out of position, must have hit a bump in the road. I'm not sure if he's spotting these players at this point. It's just a thin little Band-Aid sliver slice. I think he just saw the arm, so he might be calling for a rotate in. As you can see, B is already making his way towards market.
Yeah, the only player right now for 8-Minded that didn't buy anything this round is Sin, so he's looking to save up for an off in the future rounds so that he can get on board earlier. Oh, Deca spots it with a scout, misses. Oh, that one looks so on target. Now he's in trouble. He does do some damage. A leg shot with the scout will do about 60, and the bomb is going to be planted. So 3 men to retake it right now, and they are all in the A site. And I believe they're wondering, because Prism was challenging at A main right there, so they're wondering, well, where did he go? They tried challenging him there at that point. Sin's going to peek out first, considering he didn't buy anything. He's not going to see anybody. And they'll try to, they'll just save the head armor and 5.7s for 7. Mario Sin will just go sacrifice his body for the greater good.
And you can see he's already headed over towards the window. He's only got a USP. They went with a full vanilla here. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to force next. I've seen teams do this before, but they spent a little bit of money on the round, so I don't think it's necessarily going to happen. I mean, Sin's the only one who went with the save. Everyone else went pistol armor, so I wonder if there was a bit of miscommunication during the buy period that resulted in Sin being on a USP. But there's a team I think I've seen do it more than once. I don't remember who, where they lose pistol and they don't buy armor and pistol sometimes. They use some players who don't buy armor, and they go with like a 3-2 split SMGs and FAMAS in the third round or whatever it is. And it's kind of bizarre when you see it happen because you're like, this makes no sense. This isn't going to work. And you know what? Sometimes it doesn't, and it's a huge risk. But when you're at a deficit, you go for those risks, and sometimes those risks pay off. In this situation, 8-Minded has no reason to do it. They're actually in a pretty good spot. They're still up 3 rounds over their opponent, moving into round 18. And they can kind of just wait for the first buy to come in before they start feeling any pressure.
Yeah, and Watson and Elian initially looked like they're going to set up for some kind of boosted smoke in T spawn. But they'll fall back. Right now they're going to get pressured. 8-Minded pushing out A main. Good grenade right there, doing a bit of damage. Not nearly enough, about 10 damage worth. A little bit of chip damage, but the B site's been evacuated. B is the only one there. He's in the market right now. And he'll try and find his way back into this. But right now, Tanner is in the site now, telling and communicating to his team that, hey, it's been abandoned. It's stacked to the A direction. And 8-minded, not wiser to that, it seems. I think it's Tanner still. No, it's B that's just waiting outside, waiting for his teammates to arrive so that he can reinforce this and try and take it back. But the market has also been taken by Tanner. Tanner, if he pressures this out, he might lose his weapon, and he gets the first frag on B. Only a sliver was needed right there, so this retake is going to be nearly impossible considering no kits on board. Early headshot right there for Otto makes it easy, and it's Deca and Mario remain. So Mario's going to keep his 5-7 head armor and make his way out, but on the opposing side of that, Deca's going to look for exit frags, I think.
So another really solid round for Horizon, building up the cash that they've got on their side. You can see they survived with 5 players in their 17th round, which was round 2 of the second half. They're only going to survive with 4 as of right now, as they did lose 1. Deca is hightailing it out of there after picking up the only kill on the round for the team. Watson makes pretty quick work of him, considering he was armorless with the 5-7. He's going to take that 5-7 as well, and it is going to be the 8th round on the board for Horizon Union, and they're going to be moving into their first buy with quite a stack of cash built up. As you can see, 7K on most of these players and above, and they're going to start throwing these rifles around. Elian's actually going to opt to hold on to the Glio, which really isn't a bad idea. He's maybe hoping he can best an M4 and steal one, or find an AK after one of his teammates goes down, potentially. You know, the Glio is not exactly the worst gun in the world. I'd say the FAMAS is slightly better. But this is a big round here for Horizon Union. This would solidify the comeback, as it would put 8-minded back into an eco after it, and it would make it that much easier to creep to that 10th round point.
Yeah, this is why Sin didn't buy with his team a couple rounds ago when they force bought up. Sin now is able to get an op with head armor. And it doesn't really matter much against AK-47s, but at least he's not going to get aim punched if he's trying to look down the scope to go down range. But a split push as it stands for Horizon. They've got players in B apartments, they've got players over towards Palace, they've got one in Connector actually. Elian has snuck his way up on top of the box, looking at the stairs now to see if anybody rotates that direction. The bomb on its way back from the B apartments through T-spawn. Looks like it's going to be an A strike right now, but the A site is the most defended. This is as bristly as it gets right now. I would consider 3 players on it looking to hold as they set up, likely some set smokes that rain down onto this site. Well, they might do it dry, actually. They're going to start. Tanner's actually peeked up with just a flashbang to work with, so very late smokes, if at that. Deca's going to get the first. Elian goes down in that connector position, and without these smokes, this is going to be disastrous, I feel like, but Tanner has jumped over and gotten 2. Seb is able to return that one, and 1 player in, and that is Tanner. It's Seb, actually, from Firebox, gets 2, but Tanner, the man of the hour right now, putting it back to a 2-on-2. Tanner goes down. It's up to Prism now to get the bomb down, but Mario's staring him in the face. Returns it, almost gets the frag. But Horizon trying to go into that site without set smokes, it's a very difficult thing to do, especially with, I think Stairs wasn't smoked off. CT may have been smoked off, but Jungle wasn't, that's for certain.
You know what, though? I mean, Horizon Union actually, because of the way they put themselves, or the way they played those first 3 rounds, they actually were in a pretty good spot when they lost that one. The CT side not in a great spot when they win that. I mean, they have some guns on the board, but they lost the loss bonus, and then they lost 3 players. So that means they have to juggle some guns around. So their money is not really in a great spot. Sin's the only one with even a decent amount of cash. If they were to lose this one, he would be able to rebuy a FAMAS armor. That's basically it. You know, it wouldn't be a good round. So it would be another savior. So Horizon actually has a chance to eco reset their opponent, push them onto a double eco, potentially, as maybe that one man with cash would drop some pistols for the team, the money bags of the round. But Horizon playing for some mid control right now as they put 1 towards top mid. Tanner peeking up over the boxes from the cart. Elian's going to go for the double stack to peek towards window. And there you go. The first pick of the round goes their way. Now they're going to get out of dodge as they don't want to get dropped on by someone else from window. And a good opening start here for Horizon Union.
A nice little creative boost right there as they jump up. Got a nice shallow angle to look deep into the window room. They pick that kill up. Sin goes down swinging. And they've got that man advantage in considering the T's are willing for trades. If a 1-for-1 trade, good. T's love that, but they get a 1-for-0. It seems Elian was only had to sacrifice 20 so HP, and the bomb is positioned on A main right now. Only 2 defenders right now, considering they did lose Sin. So it's going to be a difficult defense at that. Seb sees a flashbang go over the top as he makes his way back. They may have heard him step up there on the top of Palace as B from the ladder room, trying to keep them from entering into that site. He at least prevents one. That's Elian to go down. Another good hold right here. With only so many resources, 8-minded making him go the extra mile. But Prism now watching death from above with that off. He's going to try and rain it down. It's a 3-man retake as it stands.
And, you know, 8-Minded really needs to get this round here. They can't surrender this one. And you can see they've pushed into the site already. Deka going for the jump peek over the firebox. He's going to do a lot of damage, but he ends up going down as he has to wrap around to finish off the kill. B goes for the fake defuse there. And Horizon Union is probably cheering right now as they realize what they've just done. They've taken 8-Minded back to the Stone Age. 8-Minded now is in a spot where they're probably not going to be able to buy in the next round. And if they do, it is very limited. So Horizon Union finding themselves back into this game. We could see another deep game likely to go the full 30, at least 28 or so. And, you know, I don't really know who would win this map at this point. 8-Minded looked so strong in the first half, but now they're getting done to them exactly what happened to Horizon Union in the first half. Just no money to work with.
This round looking to be a bit T-sided, considering they've got weapons against their full vanilla opponents. I think Sin has already been dropped down to 5 HP as he peeked down into underpass, got tagged in the legs quite a bit, and it is definitely going to be a B strike, it looks like. But B site's pretty good to defend right now. You can at least get some nice tight angles with your pistols, try and make them lethal, but it doesn't matter. They only have USPs, so even at point-blank range, not going to be lethal against this head armor that they're working with unless they manage to find Prism. So they've stiffened up the B site. Now they've got 4 players here to hold, and they're going to go for... I thought they were going to try and boost up and peek into that window. So Watson's been left over towards T-spawn, and I thought it was going to be B strike. They were setting up for that, and I think 8-Minded thought the same thing as well. Oh, don't peek at B. Don't peek at B. Don't do it, B. Oh my goodness! Catches the only player that he could have. The only player without head armor. He manages to dink him. He goes down anyways.
I don't know how he got that shot. You know, it was like a crack shot angle. I mean, it was just threading the needle. And with all guns, the USP, it's quite surprising that he was able to pull it off. And you can see Prism calling for the NS. Mario is going to get himself an AK. He's going to try and make use of this, as it is a 3v3 right now. Seb pushed up into T-spawn spots. Both players rotating in with bomb. Deka, one on the other side of the smoke. USP. Eventually, it's Watson who comes out on top. Oh, Mario! He had the drop on Watson, but aim punch takes over. And, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. We are down to 4 players here on Horizon Union. And we have a pause. This is the first time I've ever seen a dot problem before. I've seen dot pause come in and dot timeout, but dot problem is to indicate that there is a technical issue, not a tactical problem. And that's to be expected here, but this is actually a huge opportunity for 8-Minded. You know, the momentum has built up in Horizon Union's favor. This could be a chance for them to kind of reset mentally, and Horizon Union could actually cool off a little bit, and 8-Minded could take control of this map yet again.
Yeah, looking pretty good. They have reset that economy earlier. 3 rounds ago, the 8-Minded did take a round, but they weren't able to string things up. And so far, I mean, both teams looking like they play this map better T-side. It is a slightly CT-sided map, but both teams doing very well on their T-side. Right now, Horizon Union is 5 out of 6 on their T half. Of course, on the first half, 8-Minded was able to take, looks like, 10 out of their 15. So pretty good T-sides from both sides so far, but right now it's 8-Minded that just cannot get their utility on solid ground. It's just, you mentioned before, you've seen one of these teams you've watched play before had so many eco rounds. If you can't get your economy under control, if you can't win rounds in succession with keeping players healthy, you'll be caught in that situation where you're forced to buy up FAMASs and no head armor and light utility to work with.
Yeah, I think it was Horizon Union when they played this trifecta, and I don't remember who they were playing. It was on Cash, and this was like so many rounds in a row. They would win a round maybe, and then they would just follow it up with an immediate loss, and they'd be back to like double eco because they spent so much, and eventually they were forcing in those rounds, making it even harder. And I remember sitting back and being like, you know, this really wasn't their fault. They just couldn't get money. Like, they had no rifles. For most of the rounds, they were stuck on pistols. What are they supposed to do? And it's kind of what's happening with 8-Minded here, and it's exactly what happened with Horizon Union in the first half. Neither team was willing to give a dime to the CT side, and it continues to result in a pretty close match right now, as we're at round 22 with an 11-10 scoreline, a minute and 30 left on the clock. This man pushing in towards T-App's Prism should be able to spot one of these players making their way up ladder. He's just sitting on the ladder right now, peeking towards Palace, but it looks like there's been a bit of damage dealt over towards the B site. as Tanner, actually, he's in mid, down to 62, or 64 for that matter. Elian watching for the push coming in from B, on B, but it is going to be Seb who gets the first kill, a headshot onto Prism. So a start here, and one more to follow for 8-Minded, and they've got these players pinched. B isn't even going to go for the AK. He gets the call from Mario. They're going into the site. B is in great position. They might be able to push this down to just one man here, and this is what we said. A chance for 8-Minded to kind of reset, and a 5-up eco round. How does that happen? That should never happen in CSGO, and somehow it comes together for 8-Minded.
And that was so lucky. I think Deca accidentally bought an M4. He bottomed out his economy when his team was saving up behind that round. He was the only player that bought, and they didn't even use that M4. It was all pistols, 1Ds, and 5.7s. Horizon Union really just got caught out in multiple positions where they didn't have backup. They weren't able to make any sorts of trades. They didn't even get to use their utility that well. I mean, they got pushed on, they got crushed early, and they weren't even given a chance, it seems. So 8-Minded played that one as flawlessly as it gets, but we're going to see fast action here really quick onto the 8 side. Water falling out right into the AK-47 of Seb, but they do come out evenly. It's a 2 for 2 as it stands. The site is mollied, so it can't be planted quite yet. As Elian now going to put it down on the default position. The grenade comes out from Mario, gets the kill through the smoke, finds a headshot. Oh, and finds Tanner as well. Tanner a bit greedy. He fell off the box and virtually turned into a one-way smoke, so his legs were exposed. And that one, that round was fast, and it looked good for Horizon early, but 8-Minded just got the trades and started coming out on top. They got one-for-one trades in the site, and then as the rotations came from the B site, they came out on top.
I mean, there's really only one thing that sums up both of those rounds. And it's just that, you know, 8-Minded is leveraging individual talent over strategy. They've basically put themselves into position where they can try and do what they did throughout map 1, which is just play the frag. They might be a little bit aggressive, they might be a little bit greedy, going for double peaks, but it's been working out, and that's why they've gotten these 2 rounds that they've gotten, because that last round also should have been Horizon Union's. And now Horizon's in a difficult spot. They're making their way over toward B. This is the first dedicated B take we have seen the entire map. I mean a real B take. Smokes and flashes, etc. We did see 8-Minded work towards mid. Oh, but it's actually going to be a fake. They're going to drop right in connector. Do they know that Sin is positioned? Of course they don't. He gets a few frags himself. Deca to support him. It's just Prism left. And there's really only one thing that you could say to sum up these rounds, and it's right here.
I would say chaos.
I've been saving that one.
We had to use it.
I mean,
these rounds are so fast and furious right now, and 8-Minded, you're right, it comes down to your individual effort, because the rounds are so quick that you can't wait for your team's rotations to come from the opposing site. It comes down to you and your partner that are on that site, and what can you do for yourself before the T's start to swarm you. And they've been picking up, and just, it's not even effective trades. It's not a trades in that sense. 8-Minded is just coming out on top from skill level. Right now, Prism tried to re-peek Mario the second time, goes down, and it's 8-Minded now on their 14th round.
I just keep playing through this like FPL soundboard, and I just keep feeling like there's so many quotes on here that are totally appropriate for this. You know, Horizon Union, they were just getting round after round. I know they let the CT side of 8-Minded get one round, and they go right back into it. And then that technical pause comes in. Technical issue gives 8-Minded a chance to reset. I've seen that happen time and time again, where a player has an issue, and it allows the opposite team to be like, okay, what's going on here? What are we doing wrong? What changes? Why haven't we been able to move over to the CT side and just dominate like we did throughout the first half? And they're like, well, we're playing passively. When we played aggressive throughout the first half, maybe we just go aggressive. And that's what they've kind of done. They've gotten themselves aggressive on B, and it's given them so much information, and they're doing it again here. Deca's already pushed into T-spawn. He's basically able to tell his team that it's an A take before they even make their way out of Palace and Ramp. Seb can't find his way up the ladder, and he tried so hard to cling that rung. But it is going to be a 2v5 now, favoring Horizon Union, so they potentially put themselves in a position where they can take a round again and start building up some more money.
Prism caught out again with no head armor. Deca's got 2 frags now. It's a 2v3, or now a 1v3 as Sin goes down. It's going to be Deca now. He's going to have to ace the round to try and pull this in. He does have a lot of utility work with, but he's choosing not to use it. And his real estate's starting to get very, very narrow. Yeah, oh, death from above looks like, yes, Addo comes down from the top of the stairs and picked that one up. And Horizon pick up that round, a very necessary round, and they do it rather efficiently. They keep 3 players alive with the bomb plant on the board, too.
So they survive, they build some money, they stop what was happening here. I mean, 8-Minded looked like they were just going to coast into a victory. They started just picking up rounds. It was like a different team came out after the pause. But they're able to get into that site. They crack through the defense, and then the retake just doesn't happen for 8-Minded. 8-Minded is going to go into another bye here. Both teams pretty weak if they lose this round. The T side, a little bit stronger economically speaking than the CTs. So this is a really good opportunity for Horizon Union to continue clawing back into this one. They just need to take some guns away here. They pick up the round. If they put themselves in a position where it's 2 players left for 8-Minded, it's likely to be a save, so they could easily steal one away. They just have to get that bomb down. That's the most important thing right now for Horizon Union. They need to get that bomb down, and they need to not lose a player on the opening pick like they just did as 2 players go down. Seb and Sin both chime in with frags. Elian with a trade, but it's a 2-for-1, and the T-side's down to just 3 players, and the only thing they have control of right now is ladder room, which is going to give them a little bit, but Seb's already spotted this player, so that could potentially sell things out already for the T side.
Yeah, and B's pushed all the way through B apartments, so they know that it's their. I mean, they're reduced down to either the A side or mid, and there's Seb getting another kill. Now they're in a position at the beginning of this round, and it was exactly like what it was on Train. Horizon Union was able to claw their way back to a 16-14 scoreline, but B's going to come up from underpass from that B flank that he managed to do, leaving it all up to Watson right now. You did mention that the economy for Horizon Union, not the strongest at all. Again, it'll be Tech 9 armor next round if they manage to lose this, and that's likely what is going to happen. Watson probably just going to, well, he's going to give this his best try, and he's going to get spotted from Market. Does it a lot of damage. Now he's got to find the only player on this A site. Deka's in Firebox, and he's just willing to wait this out. Well, there's the plant. There's the easy kill to the back of the head as 8-Minded find themselves on match point.
I mean, this is kind of the moment we knew was going to happen eventually. 8-Minded was going to figure out what they needed to do to get back into the game. They had sort of looked like they'd fallen asleep behind the wheel. After an impressive first half, they just kind of went into cruise control. You see that happen a lot when the team has a really strong first half. They just kind of let off the gas a little bit. But now they found themselves back into it, and the last buy coming in from Horizon here is going to be a really weak one. Tech 9, CZ, double AK, very limited utility. Yeah, I would expect to see a fast A play here based on what they have. Smokes and flashes, they're just going to be going basically for this default generic A take. So smokes rain out into the A site, flashes to follow as well. There are some players from the CT side on the site. Deka in a really good spot here, playing right in front of the firebox, and he does so much damage. It all comes down to that. A 3-man hold from 8-Minded to close things out. 16-11 here. And do you remember what the score